Who should you not, and I do stress the word not, bet to win the NCAA tournament? Well, in just a couple minutes, I'm going to give you two teams that history says will not be cutting the nets down on April 7th. Of course, you can feel free to share with us who you think won't be winning at all. Do so by commenting down below. Now, the tidbit I am about to share, pretty interesting. I used it 2 years ago when betting Fairleigh Dickinson on the money line to beat top-seeded Purdue at the Turning Stone Resort and Casino. Perhaps you guys remember that from Twitter. Of course, that remains the biggest upset in the history of the NCAA tournament. So hopefully I've got your attention now. And I will give credit where credit is due. The following comes from one Ken Pomeroy. Since the NCAA tournament field expanded to 64 teams, which was back in 1985, there have been 39 instances of a team that was not ranked in the preseason AP poll getting a 1 or 2 seed. So we're obviously talking about teams that have wildly overperformed expectations over the course of a season, as they were not even considered to be top 25 at the beginning of the year, and now are top 8. Those 39 teams that got seeded 1 or 2 that were not ranked at the start of the season have combined for 0 Final Fours and averaged less than 2 wins per tournament. That means more often than not, they don't even escape the first weekend. This year, we do have two teams that qualify. Like I said earlier, St. John's and Michigan State are the guilty parties. St. John's, of course, just won the Big East tournament. They have a legendary coach in Rick Pitino and the number one defensive rating in the country per KenPom. But the Red Storm were not ranked at the start of the season and are now the 2 seed in the West region. It would definitely be a surprise, at least to me, to see them lose outright to 15 seed Omaha in round 1. That game tips off at 9:40 Eastern Thursday in Providence, by the way. But given the history, fading the Johnnies as 18.5-point favorites might be a decent option. One thing that likely ends up holding Patino's team back is their poor three-point shooting. Even though the Johnnies won the Big East regular season title and tournament, they were dead last in the conference, shooting just 26.8% from behind the arc. History also says you need to have a top 20 offensive rating at KenPom to win the national championship. St. John's is only 65th. They're not going to improve at the top 20 over the course of a few games. Assuming the Johnnies do get by Bryant on Thursday, there is the potential, and I thought this was pretty interesting, to be matched up with Kansas in the second round. And guess what? The Jayhawks, very different regular season than St. John's because Kansas just so happened to be the number one ranked team in the country in the preseason poll. They obviously wildly fell short of expectations, but who knows? What comes around goes around. So St. John's is one team I don't think will win it all. Smash that like button if you agree. Now let's talk about Michigan State, a team that did not even receive a single vote in the preseason top 25 poll, if you can believe that. Sparty now the number 2 seed in the South region. They will open Friday against 15 seed Bryant. That is a 10 p.m. tip-off Eastern time. Sparty currently a 17.5-point favorite for that game. Again, it would be a shock to see them lose outright, but consider this is another team, guys, that does not shoot the three well. Just 26.5% in conference play. Just had an 8-game straight up and ATS win streak snapped in the Big Ten tourney when they lost to Wisconsin. Now, Tom Izzo's team is number 2 in the country in three-point defense. Very similar statistical profile here to St. John's. Opponents have shot just 27.9% against them for the year from behind the arc. But eventually, doesn't somebody have to start making threes against Michigan State? Now, it may not be Bryant, but maybe New Mexico or Marquette in round 2. So just to summarize here, I am going on the record in saying that neither St. John's nor Michigan State will win the national championship. In fact, history says neither will even get to the Final Four. Bet accordingly. Of course, for all of my top bets this tournament season, there's only one place to go, and you know where that is, wt.buzz/BP. I'm currently on a 41, 21, and 2 all sports run, not to mention 35, 18, and 1, my last 54 in college hoops, anticipating a big March, so make sure you are on board. That is going to do it for me today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, smash that like button if you did. Again, and make sure you click subscribe if you have not already done that. I'm going to be doing a bunch more free content for March Madness here on WagerTalk TV. So until next time, let's cash some tickets.